You can't just say, okay, I just need to be more confident. I just need more. Like it's like a false pep talk. It doesn't make sense. Like if you were going out and you were going to do something that you never done before, like let's say you were going to skydive. What confidence can prepare you for the fear of skydiving? There's really none. That comes down to other principles. That comes down to the only thing that's separating you from having the confidence you desire is constant repetition. You have to constantly prove to yourself that you're capable of doing things that are difficult or scary. And you only do that through. What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for joining us After Dark yet again for another episode. You know what I'm saying? It is early morning. Right now it is 7:56 a.m., 7 a.m. basically. So we woke up a little earlier to get this one out because I wanted to see. The reason why I'm up this early really is because I wanted to see if sunlight would have an effect on the quality of the videos, because I was looking back at some older videos where I was using the same camera, but I feel like it looked a lot better just simply because of the sunlight that was provided. You know what I mean? So we're gonna try this out, see if the sunlight affects the quality. If the sunlight allows the quality to have better, or the videos to have better quality, then I'll probably just start waking up earlier, and that way I can get my videos to look a little bit better. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about something that I've probably touched on in the past. I've probably talked about a lot of stuff, but today I want to talk about repetition. I was watching one of my old videos. So my second video ever posted to this YouTube channel. I was watching that, and I was talking about why I don't believe hard work is the key to success. Great video. I recommend go checking it out. That was kind of towards the beginning of my journey of speaking and talking. And on this channel, I've kind of made it, I'm not gonna say a trend as in it's popular, but a trend on my channel. If you watch across my videos, you'll find that a common theme is I kind of tend to challenge some beliefs that have been put out by other people, not specific people, but just challenge certain beliefs. I've challenged certain ideas in the self-improvement community, and one of the ideas that I challenge fairly often is the idea behind confidence, right? I challenge the idea about confidence pretty often because in my personal experience, I found that confidence isn't what people make it seem to be. The word confidence is thrown around so often, but I don't think people truly understand the definition of confidence, right? Like, to me, a matter of fact, let's just do what I always do. Let's go for the dictionary definition. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what I think about it personally. The feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. Firm trust. So let's keep that word in mind, those words in mind. Firm trust. The state of feeling certain about the truth of something. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. So let's take these two. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. The feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. A firm trust. All right, so based on those two definitions, what do y'all think? Where do y'all think I'm going with this? I just want give your opinion in the comments before I even say it, or you know what I'm saying. Just think of your idea, write it down, whatever the case may be, because I want you to see if you can understand where I'm going based on these definitions. So the idea of confidence is based around trust in oneself. That's basically what confidence is. Confidence at like the base understanding to me is trust in oneself. So the problem with that to me is that in order to trust yourself, there has to be some form of evidence. There has to be some proof. You have to have a reason to trust yourself. How many people do you just go out and just trust just off the strength of just hoping that they're a good person? It doesn't happen like that very often. You know what I mean? So you can't expect the same thing for yourself. If you haven't proven that you're capable, then how could you ever have confidence, right? That alone isn't the problem. The problem lies where people who don't understand the definition of confidence throw around the word confidence and think that the solution to their problems is confidence. This is completely false. Confidence is simply a byproduct of action. You know what I mean? It's a byproduct of repetition. The more you do something, the more familiar it becomes, and you gain confidence in that regard, right? So let's just back up a step before I even go deeper into that area. Confidence is wide range. There's no such thing as being confident in one thing. Confident is an attitude. Confident is almost a trait of personality. It's like if you are a confident person, you are a confident person. You trust in yourself. You believe in your capability as a human being. You are a confident person. There's no such thing as I'm confident at this, but I'm not confident at this. Like, you can't say you excel in this area when it comes to confidence, but then fall short in this area when it comes to confidence, because confidence is wide range. Confidence is confidence. If you're confident, you're confident. If you can't carry that confidence with you in any aspect of your life, then you can't truly call yourself confident. It's a misunderstanding of the word. But back to the side of repetition. The repetition creates familiarity, and just showing yourself through repetition that you're capable of doing things that are hard, or doing things that you may have been fearful of, or just stepping out of your comfort zone, or trying something new, anything like that. By doing those things, you build the understanding of your capability. And through that understanding of your capability, that is where you gain the confidence to say, okay, I've proved to myself time and time again that even if something seemed difficult or scary at first, I've always been able to push through, and whether or not the results are something that I wanted, I was able to do it. And that's kind of the important thing. And that's where confidence is built. Confidence is built as a byproduct of repetition. You know what I mean? It's not something you say, okay, my problem lies in me not being confident enough. Like, you can't, I don't feel that that is the correct answer for most people problems. Like, the correct answer usually isn't that you aren't confident enough. And if you're trying to chase confidence as a response to the problems that you're having, I think you're going to quickly fall into like a loop of just misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Not being able to figure out where your solution lies. I think if you find yourself saying that my problem with this is that I'm not confident enough, then I think your solution would be more repetition. I think it's a lack of repetition, a lack of evidence, a lack of proving to yourself of your own capability. And you can't just say, okay, I just need to be more confident. I just need more. Like, it's like a false pep talk. It doesn't make sense. Like, if you were going out and you were going to do something that you never done before, like let's say you were going to skydive. What confidence can prepare you for the fear of skydiving? There's really none. That comes down to other principles. That comes down to, courage, resilience, like those kind of things. Like, the word confidence is thrown around way too often, in my opinion. And I would consider myself confident for the reasons I stated before, of constant repetition and proving to myself my own capability. But when people tell me that they wish they were as confident as me, I was like, whenever people say that they wish they had my confidence, I'm not saying like everybody says, I've heard it a couple times. In my mind, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, the only thing that's separating you from having the confidence you desire is constant repetition. You have to constantly prove to yourself that you're capable of doing things that are difficult or scary. And you only do that through action. You only do that through facing fears. You only do that through pushing through. You only do that through just showing yourself that it's possible for you to take control over your decisions and handle your responsibility. It's one of those things and even that comes from repetition. It's a constant consistency of doing things that are uncomfortable to you. And then eventually that becomes confidence. It makes you a confident person because you've proven to yourself time and time again that no matter the circumstance, you're able to always find a way to make things happen. It's little things like that, little mindset switches like that help. things make a little more sense. I find that a lot of the self-improvement information on the internet is very much useful. It's very also, it's pretty consistent. Like if you watch this self-improvement video and you watch three other ones, a lot of them are gonna have the same information. It's pretty consistent information. But there are a few bits of information that I find to be a little wonky that I personally feel differently about, or just feel like there's pieces missing when it comes to the explanation. And that's just through my own personal experience. I can't speak for anyone else, but as someone who has tried all the advice I could think of, follow everything, a lot of the advice is useful information. Like I'm talking about, I've learned so much information through the past few years, even all the information I've put out on this channel myself. I've learned plenty of information, but if I've learned anything in the past year or two, is that that information is absolutely useless if not accompanied by action, if not accompanied by repetition. The one factor that most people are missing is repetition, is action. There's a quote, and I'm not claiming this quote, it's not my quote, but there's a quote that says, strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. It's an amazing quote. And I want y'all to think about that for a second and think, what does that mean to you? What does the quote mean to you? Strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. Think about that for a second while I drink some water, bro. Strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. So to me, that quote is directly linking to the idea of a lack of action. So let's look at the first part, right? Strong enough to have it all. Strong enough to have it all. This to me, as far as what I'm speaking to, is reference to knowledge, understanding, and like there's no lack of knowledge in most people when it comes to understanding what, like most people know what they have to do. A very simple one would be losing weight. Let's talk about losing weight. If your goal is to lose weight, let's say you want to lose 20 pounds as just a goal. Strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it in this circumstance would be, everybody knows to lose weight, you have to consume less calories than you burn out every day. It's fairly simple. It's a very simple concept. And if you know me on this channel, you know that simple and easy, two completely different things. It's not easy, but it's a very simple concept. Simply consume less calories than you burn each day. What do you see most people doing? Most people try to find workarounds. They try to avoid the actual one thing that will give them the progress that they need. I talked recently about avoidance. This goes hand in hand. We're avoiding certain actions. So what they do is they try to find workarounds. That's when people come up with these fat burning remedies. They come up with these like different drinks that you mix and they're supposed to be fat burning. They come up with like eating salads, for example. Let's talk about eating salads. I've seen people eat salads and they're like, well, salad is healthy, but it's like, okay, well, what's in the salad? Because I see, you know what I'm saying, fried chicken, I see all this dressing, that's a bunch of calories, I see cheese, I see bacon, I see, like, there's no workaround to the idea of you just have to consume less calories. That's the one thing that leads you to success. But people try so hard to avoid that action. It's the trap of avoidance that I talked about recently. So the strong enough to have it all is that understanding. I know that if I want to lose 20 pounds, I have to consistently consume less than I'm burning each day. That is the simple principle of losing weight. Strong enough to have it all. You understand. Now the second half, too weak to take it. Too weak to take it means this. Like if this is what I want, this is me taking it. Like this is me taking it. Too weak to take it, meaning you are strong enough to have it all. You have the understanding, but you're too weak to take the action required. You're too weak to do what is necessary. You're too weak to take that first step. It's a lack of action. It has nothing to do with understanding. Understanding has never been the problem. More times than not, the problem is always action, because a lot of times, even if there is a lack of understanding, action sometimes can give you that understanding that you're looking for. The understanding that you were lacking, sometimes that action can give you that, just based on taking your first step, getting out there, figuring out, finding out. It's like one of those things. So strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. If it's right here, you're too weak to go out there and get it. You're too weak to do what's necessary, to act on what is necessary. It's simply a lack of action. I want you to remember that quote: strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. People glorify success without seeing failed attempts. Whenever you see people on the internet, social media, they're only showing you the best of their life. More times than not, they're showing you the end goal. They're showing you results. It's not often. Now, some people definitely do. I'm not trying to generalize this too much, but it's not very often that people bring you along and show the failures in their journey. And even if they do, it's usually not until they reach the success. But the problem is, we glorify the success way too much. We look too much into the success and never consider the idea of how long it took them, or never consider the repetition it took, the attempts, the failures, all these things that go into them being where they're at now. It took lots and lots of failure. Look, took a lot of trying, it took a lot of falling, and it took a lot of getting up. But it took a lot of action. That's one thing for sure. You know what I mean? It took a lot of action. So whenever you see someone that is successful on the internet, or even in your own personal life, before just honing too much in on the success, try to consider what they went through, what they pushed themselves through, what they had to kind of fight to get there, and understand that there was a consistency of action. This all boils down to action. I told y'all, I said on a video before, I don't remember what video, but I said on one of these sit down videos that I want this channel to gear more towards helping everybody. I remember what episode it was. It was the episode about confidence. It's kind of similar to what I'm talking about now. That was like a 40-minute video, probably one of the best videos on my channel. But I talked about how on this channel I want to gear towards teaching people and helping people understand the importance of action, and not fall too deep into principles or fall too deep into the knowledge that I'm giving. Because early on in this channel, I was giving a lot of knowledge, and it was just basically different ideas. And of course, I'm still going to do that, because sharing my personal opinions and everything is like, I enjoy doing that. But as far as the main point of this channel and this podcast, I want everybody to understand anything I say. I want to help towards action, help towards getting someone to take their first steps at something new, or taking their first steps at something they've been wanting to do for a while, or whatever the case may be. I wanted to encourage action rather than just encourage a book smart individual, because book smarts are great and all, but they only get you so far. The way I kind of see it is, knowledge without action is practically useless, and action without knowledge is actually sustainable, because you can start without having a strong understanding of anything, and as you do it, you kind of be forced to learn. So they definitely go hand in hand. But if you ask me which one is stronger, it's gonna be action every time. Action can overlap a lack of understanding a lot of times. But yeah, people glorify success without understanding the failed attempts. It takes a lot of attempts, a lot of repetition. Takes years of consistency sometimes. A lot of people you see that are successful, it didn't happen overnight. That's just the way you perceive it, because you only see the one clip that made them go viral, or you only see, the work that they have now. You didn't see the years of consistency behind it, the years of action behind it. Like the word talent, or just think about like Beyonce. The word talent, I never really liked that word. I think that it has its place, but to me, the word talent, and again, we could go dictionary definition if you don't want to agree with me. Now, I'm not saying I don't always go to dictionary definition. You can have your own understanding of words, but I'm just trying to go for what we can all understand. Natural aptitude or skill. So the word natural here is a big part of this. Natural. So natural to me means like you were born with this. You didn't have to work for this skill, basically. I think there are a few things that are talents. There are a few things that are talents, like some things that you can do that I just can't do. Now, if I worked hard enough at it, could I get good at it? Yes, but more than likely, unless I was born with this capability, it's going to be very hard for me to compete with people who are naturally gifted in this. There's a couple things on that list. To me, personally, singing. Singing is one of those things that you can learn to get good at, but to only a certain extent. To only a certain extent. You can definitely get better at singing, but there are some people that are born with a beautiful voice. Like they just had that from a young age. And it's like that's just one of those things. That's talent. Not to take away any of the hard work that any singers or performers do to keep their voice up and going, but that's one of those things I feel is talent. And then there's a few other things I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's not a whole lot that people are just naturally gifted with. Like art skills, if you ask me, little to no one is just talent, like naturally gifted at art. It usually takes years of practice and years of repetition with a pencil or a pen or whatever the case, a paintbrush. But the word talent, I don't like when it gets thrown around because to me it's like downplaying the work that people put in. It's downplaying it, and it's kind of like an excuse. It's like saying that, all right, instead of acknowledging all the hard work you put in and all the action that you took and all the repetition and all the failures and instead of acknowledging all that, I'm just gonna call it talent to feel better about myself and to kind of strip you of feeling good about the hard work you put in. You know, it's one of those things to me. I don't mind the word talent, like it's not gonna hurt my feelings, but I want people to understand what they're saying when they mean what they mean what they're saying when they say talent. That's kind of how I see it sometimes. So that's one of those words that just gets thrown around a lot. It's kind of like discrediting the work that you put in, the repetition that's required. Talent, sometimes people hide behind it. It's like a shield. It's an excuse. Like what they're doing, I would love to be able to do, but because I don't want to take the necessary action, you know what I mean? Um, I'm gonna just call it talent to make myself feel better about it, to convince myself that they're just naturally gifted at this, and it didn't take a lot of hard work and stuff like that. And I hear that word a lot. People call me talented only because of the many skills I've been able to get good at over the years. Like especially when I was younger, basketball. I used to do a lot of flips, backflips. You know, a lot of acrobatics. Um, I used to do art. So I used to draw. I used to box. I used to do everything. But people would throw the word talent a lot just because I was good at multiple things. But like, it's like, do y'all know how much hours I spent a day practicing these skills? Like I'm talking about hours outside playing in the rain practicing, or inside drawing for 4 hours, getting mad, throwing papers across the room because the drawing I had was trash, or just things like that that people don't see. They don't see the failure. They don't see the repetition. Like they don't understand the work that I put into to acquire those skills. It's not like I was just naturally born with the ability to do any of that. That all came from straight up repetition. But I just wanted to kind of get that out there. Um, there's a few points. Actually, I'll just say them because I might as well just split this video up. Or I don't know. I might make it one video. We'll see. Quality and quantity, right? How many times have y'all heard quality over quantity? Y'all probably heard that term a lot. This is another one I challenge pretty often. Quality over quantity. I guess the idea of quality over quantity is it's more beneficial to put out or to release a perfected art piece than it is to release a plethora of okay art pieces. That's kind of the idea of quality over quantity. And I do think personally that after a certain point of life, potentially, yes, quality over quantity. Drake, if you are Drake at the height of Drake's career, with so many eyes on you, so many things, on the line, so many people paying attention. If you are Drake at the peak of his career, it is likely beneficial that you release your most quality work. It's likely more beneficial that you spend that extra time making your projects that you're about to release as perfect as possible, rather than just putting out a bunch of nonsense that people are not gonna gravitate towards. At a certain point in your career, I would say quality over quantity. Yes. If you are starting out and you are new to something, if you are trying something new, if you're getting your foot in the door, if you're new to the game, whatever the case may be, do not follow this quality over quantity rule. I think it is backwards. Quality over quantity is when you are already established in whatever you're doing. Then it's like, okay, you can now you want to put out your best work because the world is watching. You know what I mean? Now it's important to put out your best work. When you are first starting in anything, when you're in the when you're in the beginning stages of repetition, right? Like you're just getting your feet wet. It is quantity over quality, in my personal opinion, because you can't have quality without quantity. There is no quality without quantity. You cannot have something be amazing consistently without constant repetition. If you're a video editor, your first 100 edits of anything, whether you're editing for commercials, editing for YouTube, editing for, just like TikTok edits, your first 100 edits are not going to be quality. They're just not. So you can't just think you could just spawn this concept of quality just out of nowhere. The quality only comes from repetition. After you do 300 to 500 edits, then you might start seeing quality. And even then, sometimes people don't even see it in that range. But let's just say 300 to 500 edits. You do 300 to 500 edit in the span of like 3 years, or I don't know. Let's do the math on that. Let's see. 3 years. So if you wanted to do 500 edits in 3 years, you have to do 167 edits a day, basically. Or not a day, a year. 167 edits a year. That's not impossible to do, to be honest. So let's say you wanted to get to 500 edits. Then you will see quality. Let's talk after you got 300 to 500 edits under your belt. Then we can start pushing your best quality. But at the beginning stages, it's just quantity. You're just trying to push out as much as possible. You're trying to get repetitions. Quality isn't even important right now. That's gonna come. Quality is just a byproduct. Same thing as confidence. Just how confidence is just a byproduct, quality is just a byproduct of constant repetition. Like if you do something enough times, and if you didn't watch the second video on my channel, the hard work does not equal success, this one, you might gotta go watch that to get a deeper understanding of the idea of repetition. But repetition, constant, consistent repetition paired with awareness and adjustments would be huge. Like it would be a huge combination that would lead to quality results. But the repetition always comes first. There is no quality without quantity. There is no quality without repetition. That's kind of one of those things that I've kind of challenged a lot, just because that's just how I personally feel about it. It's the repetition more important than the quality. Like the quality is just a byproduct. That's gonna come. Quality is like almost guaranteed if the repetition is there. The repetition compared with the other things, of course. Why don't people have enough attempts? Why don't people have enough reps? It usually comes down to different like qualities of fear. It usually comes from fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of looking foolish. These things kind of stop people from getting their repetitions. There's a lot of stake. There's a lot of stake, and people are not ready to take what may come with that. When it comes to repetition and action. But that quote I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna say it now because this is actually a perfect quote for this. But there's a quote that says, "Die about it or live with it." Die about it or live with it. That is a strong quote. Tell me what y'all think about that one. Die about it or live with it. It's not my quote. I'm not taking credit for it, but it's a great quote, and that quote goes very much hand in hand with the quote I said earlier. But die about it or live with it. But the reason why that goes with this so well, why do people not have enough repetition, is that fear of failure, that fear of rejection, that fear of judgment from others. It stops you from getting the attempts that are necessary. But you have to die about it or live with it. Not exactly like not die literally, you know what I mean? But it's basically like either do what you have to do, either take that action or just sit there and live with it. That's your only two options. Your only two options is to is to get uncomfortable, do that thing that you know you have to do, or just live with the result of not doing it. That's kind of the only two options. Like, it doesn't have to be a long argument, debate, conversation. It's like, all right, there's only two options. If you're not willing to do this, if you're not willing to try, if you're not willing to attempt, if you're not willing to do what's necessary, then just live with it. Don't complain about it. Don't say nothing about how unhappy you are with the life that you're living. It's like, do something about it or live with it. Die about it or live with it. It's that simple when it comes to this idea. So that's why people don't have enough repetition. It's just fear of failure, fear of this, fear of that. The only way to get past that, because the fear doesn't go away. The thing that people always forget is the fear doesn't go away. The solution to fear is not figuring out how to not be fearful of it. The solution to fear is to get yourself to not act in spite of fear. That is the solution. The fear doesn't go away. You can't get yourself to just not be scared. Like, fear is just as a reaction to things. The solution would be, I can act outside of this fear. I don't know what that word would be. I'm trying to look for it, but I can act outside of this fear. Meaning that just because I'm fearful of this doesn't mean I can act differently. You know what I mean? Like, if you're scared of snakes, if you push your body to, you could pick up a snake. You're going to be terrified, but you could pick up a snake. It's just action is separate from the mindset. You know what I mean? It's two separate things. Action is separate from the mindset. The mind could think one thing and you can move completely differently. That's kind of one of the biggest keys. If you can understand that, you can kind of get very far. Is that the mind and the body are separate. You can act differently than you think, and you can think differently than you act. So just because I think one thing, or my mind is telling me one thing, I can do something or act completely differently just based on how I decide to move. So you got to just act outside of your fear, or fear of rejection, fear of failure. Like, you could be shivering in your boots to go do something that you're scared to do, like skydiving, for example. You can be shivering in your boots, but you can still jump. That's the thing, is you can act outside of that. You can act outside of your fear. You have that control. Die about it or live with it. Do what's necessary, regardless of how you feel. You know what I'm saying? The results don't have to be what you want them to be. The importance is the input, not the output. If you can get the input right and you can do that consistently, regardless of how you feel, then you won't have to live with it. You don't have to live in that kind of slump of sadness that you feel like you don't have the strength necessary to do what you need to do. You know what I mean? You can't avoid the unavoidable is the next thing I have written down right now. I've said it a lot of times. I've said it a million different ways. I can't avoid the unavoidable. So there are certain things in life that are guaranteed. So I'll give you a few examples. You can't avoid the unavoidable. In life, you can't avoid failure. It's guaranteed. Can't win at everything. You can't avoid losing. It's unavoidable. It's impossible to not lose in life. It's impossible to not fail in life. It's impossible to not get rejected in life. It's impossible. Some things are literally unavoidable. Heartbreak is unavoidable. You can't avoid heartbreak. More than likely, you're going to go through it at some point in your life, one way or another. So what people try to do is avoid the unavoidable because it's too scary. Nobody wants to go through rejection. Nobody wants to go through failure. Nobody wants to go through losing. So they try to avoid the things that may result in those things. But the problem is it's unavoidable. So you're going to be running from it your entire life. You're going to be running from these things your entire life if you try to avoid them today because they're unavoidable. Trying to avoid the unavoidable is literally recipe for just losing in life because you are going to be running from it your entire life. That's the one thing that I need y'all to understand is you can't avoid the unavoidable. Die about it or live with it. It's that simple. Either you do it or you live with it. Either you fix it or you live with it. You take that risk or you live with it. You get rejected or you live with it. You fail or you gotta just do it. There's no way around it. There's no way around feeling hurt. There's no way around feeling rejected. There's no way around feeling like a loser. There's no way around feeling like any of those feelings. They're unavoidable. So you might as well just dive in, get them out the way, and eventually you'll be like, you know what? This ain't that bad. I could deal with this. Like, there's nothing. If it's gonna lead me it's gonna lead me down the path I need to go to, I'm gonna just take that one on the chin, keep moving, cause I'm not gonna live with it. I'd rather die about it. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather take this hit now than just live with it my entire life thinking shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda syndrome is the worst thing known to man. Shoulda, coulda, woulda syndrome is terrible. I'd rather take it on the chin than lay in my bed at night and be like, damn, I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wish I did this, wish I did that. I'm not doing that. So stop trying to avoid the unavoidable. But that's pretty much all I have to talk about today. I mean, that's just what I want to talk about. This video is a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest. But the basic idea of this video is you don't need more confidence, you just need more attempts. You don't need more confidence, you just need more attempts. You just need more repetition. All right, it's not about confidence, it's about repetition.